Okay, I think we just begun. This is Dr. Raj with a Tuesday at 2. I am so honored and privileged today to be able to speak to a fitness legend, First Lady of Fitness, she has been called, the Dame of Fitness. She's also known as Lala, a National Fitness Hall of Fame inductee, and of course, married to fitness legend Jack LaLanne for over 52 years. I want to welcome LaLanne, also known as Lala.
Right. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Raj, well, I call it television, but on the computer. But you have to be careful with me because as Jack said, you have to watch out for my wife because she runs up my bills and runs off at the mouth.
Oh, well, I read somewhere that in reference to you, your husband said that if you spend any length of time around her, her enthusiasm is contagious. And that's exactly how I felt when we first spoke. I've had I had the privilege of listening to you and having you come speak at a mastermind group with Dr. Fab Mancini, and your energy and positivity are definitely contagious. And I can see how you and your husband have been such pioneers and legends in the fitness industry. I thank you. I was telling you earlier, I thank both you and your husband for fighting the fight so many years ago when very few people were listening. And
Right.
I know that you both suffered some ridicule.
Yes, right. When Jack first started, there was some crackpot, some nut, Filbert, a nut, charging money to go to his gym, or in those days it was called Physical Culture Studio, Jacqueline's Physical Culture Studio. So either you were just nuts to do it, and it won't last. It won't last. And when I met Jack in the early 50s, that stigma was still there. You'll get muscle bound, and you'll if you work out with the weights and all that stuff. So it's been a revolution. Not only a revolution, it's been a boom, like my book, putting the boom back in the boomers.
Yes, I'm so happy. Congratulations on your new book. I know you wrote it with another fitness legend.
Yes, Jamie Brinkus called my agent Rick Hirsch, and so he said he wanted to do a book with me, and he wanted to do it, putting the boom back in the boomers. Well, when Rick told me that, I laughed. I thought that's a great title. So we took the title of Jack, "If you want to live, move," is from one of Jack's quotes. So we added putting the boom back in the boomers, and every time I'd say it, somebody would laugh. So I thought, well, maybe I think it'd be great. So I'll tell you about it in a little bit. I know you want to ask me all questions, and we'll end up telling about my book. Okay.
Well, very excited about your book, and yes, I know Jack was one of the first people really to convince people to get up and move through his television shows. And I didn't realize this, but in doing a little research and preparing for my interview with you, I realized that your show with Jack was the longest running exercise TV show in television history.
Yeah, 34 years. Yeah, when he first started, it was 1951, and do you want to hear the story about how?
Of course, yes, please.
I used to swim I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I was swimming in the Minneapolis Aqua Falls and was in pretty good shape. And so when I was on television in the early 50s, I actually started in 1948. And so is that your doggy barking?
No, I don't think so. Not mine. Maybe in a little bit.
Do you hear that little noise?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that is.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I got this call. I was on this television show from 4:30 to 6 with a 12-piece orchestra left over from radio in those days, and that was all live. Everything was live, and I got this call from Oakland, California, and I booked the whole hour-and-a-half show. And now if you go on NBC or the Today Show, they've got somebody doing somebody just doing the 1.5 minute interview for you. I mean, researching it, and I had to do it all. So I got this call, and this gal said, "I got this guy who can do push-ups through your whole show." And I thought, oh my gosh, that would be great. We'll pan over to him every now and then. So that's what we did. And that was Jack LaLanne. And then that was before 1951, because I was on the television at the end of 48. And so he started his show in 1951 on KGO. And we were in the newsroom. His office was in the newsroom, and my office was in the newsroom. And the newsrooms in those days were just a small, where there were 5 seats in it, and there was the news director and his helper, and then there was Jack's desk and his producer, and then me, and then one other guy, the secretary. So that was just 5 desks in this room, and I'd walk in because he was on at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'd come in around 8:30, and I'd be smoking my cigarette and chomping on my chocolate donut, and he'd say, "Oh, I love chocolate donuts," and he said, "You should be eating apples and bananas and oranges. If I didn't like you, I wouldn't tell you this." I said, "Oh yeah." I blew smoke in his face. But anyway, he was to say something. He was to bring something. This fellow over that had a very big corporation out to here. And he said, "I'm taking off 30 pounds in 30 days." And he did. And so I went home and looked at myself, and I said, "Oh my gosh, the sands of time are shifting. I haven't been exercising or doing anything." I just thought you grew this way. And so I joined a little class. I started broiling everything I used to fry. Then I started exercising on the noon, and I changed my whole life around. I couldn't believe it. And I quit smoking, because you know why I quit smoking? Because Jack brought some pictures, and these pictures was a picture of pink lungs, black lungs, and holy lungs with holes in them, and you can't breathe. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I'm 27 years old, and I'm old, and I don't want to have holy lungs, because I always felt he was old at 27. So that's how I met Jack, and we danced at a company party, and we've danced ever since.
Oh my
End of the story.
Oh, I think that was just the beginning of the story there, but because the unbelievable life of the two that you have, and you know what? I realize now, listening to you, he was on a mission to convert everyone into a fitness and healthy and fitness lifestyle, and he started one person at a time, and he did that with you, and then influenced all of us.
Well, that was his dream. He really wasn't one who cared about making a lot of money. That's the trouble with today. Everybody's money hungry. His goal was, I want to help people to help themselves, and I want to see everybody in this great country, because he was such a patriot. And he said, I want to see everybody in this country working out and feeling good. And so that was his mission.
Thanks to the both of you, that we've achieved as a country. I feel that I build wellness centers, and I do it because you and your husband paved the way for us fitness enthusiasts to be able to spread the word. But thanks to Jack, people, and it's amazing. People don't realize that he invented such machines as the leg extension, the Smith machine. He didn't invent jumping jacks, but he certainly made them popular and famous.
Yeah. And the jumping jack. If you see people doing jumping jacks, why Jack popularized that. Everybody says, "Oh, Jack invented the jumping jack." No, they were doing jumping jacks in, I think, the 1800s. I think.
Well, he brought it to everybody's living room,
Yeah.
and both the two of you and I were reading about his show, which really resonated with me because being a chiropractor myself, I don't know if people know this, but Jack LaLanne was a chiropractor, which makes us all proud to know that he was there fighting the fight for chiropractic and health and fitness long before many of us were even around.
Right.
Um, but some of the things that he has accomplished in his life are amazing. I know you met him when he came on to your show and asked him to do push-ups the entire show.
Right. Well, speaking of chiropractic, in those days in 1936 and up until the 50s, chiropractic was not recognized by the medical profession at that particular time. And Jack had some uh, physicians working out in his gym, and they were big fans of his, but he could not promote himself as a chiropractor because there was such a stigma on it in those days in the 30s. So now you have a wellness center. You probably have everything in it, which is so great. And massage and rehab with all that, and it's a wonderful thing that you're doing with your wellness centers. I
Oh,
I'm
again, I'm only able to do that because you and Jack have paved the way, and people are more receptive now to health and wellness because they understand it better. And you and Jack having the first show on fitness on TV. Think about how many shows have come since then. Even Jane Fonda and Richard Simmons. Um, we're talking. You guys have really, you're pioneers.
well. There were people before him, like Paul Bragg was an inspiration to Jack, and then Jack's one of the musicians was a guy by the name. He was Indian, and he was from India, and his name was K.V. Iyer, and he was about the same stature as Jack, and Jack used to, when he was a teenager, he used to put his picture up there in his room. So there's your everybody has a mentor, everybody has somebody that they admire that have helped them along the way,
Yes.
and Jack helped me along the way, and I just did a documentary interview with a friend of mine who was she asked me to if I would do this documentary, and it was about Ellen Joe, a student of Jack's, but the whole premise of this documentary was that Ellen Joe was a student of Jack's. Jack inspired Ellen Joe, and Ellen Joe inspired Bruce Lee.
Wow.
And goes, and, uh, and so that's how it all goes. And I'm sure that all of you in the seminar today, um, you probably have, if you look into your life, you probably have found somebody that has inspired you, and that made you kind of want to do something. It gave you the motivation to do it, and that's what it's all about. We've got to have that motivation, and that's what I got from Jack. If I wish you all could know him, because I mean he was funny. He was. I mean, you couldn't be around him and not change your life.
Oh, that's amazing. And you know what? You definitely carry on that tradition. I read one of your quotes. It says, if your attitude is, I can't, that won't help, or I'll never be able to, then you've already lost. My attitude, no matter how dim the situation may be, is always positive.
That's right. It is positive. There's a lot of times when I get a little frustrated, and I lose it, but not too.
I
But
think we all get that way sometimes. Yes.
we all do, and we always think, "Oh my God, the world is caving in on us," and but I'm like a tea kettle. Doesn't only last for minutes, and then I'm back to my old self again. But I mean, that's what you have to do. You gotta you got to fall down and get up again. And, Jack had an exercise, get up and get down. You go down on the floor and then get up without using your hands. Well, I'm 93. I used to be able to do it, but I can get down on the floor and get up, but I do have to use that hand a little bit.
That's amazing. What is your workout? Like I read somewhere that where Jack was a 2 hour a day kind of workout guy, that wasn't you.
No, no, I never did. I never worked out more than a half hour. And so unless I was, water skiing with Jack or I was doing something else, I, but the secret is if you put effort in. Now look, I'll put your arm out in front of you. Everybody on the seminar, put your hand out in front of you, okay? Now touch your shoulder, easy, touch it, okay. All right, now put your hand out and squeeze your fist as hard as you can. Okay, now bring it up so slowly. Feel what's happening. The muscle has got resistance and it's working. And so that is the secret. So too many people go into the gym and they go this way and they go that way, and they don't think into the muscle they're working, and they don't use resistance. Jack was so funny when he was alive. We'd go to New York or something, and they'd say, Jack, we want to interview at so-and-so's health spa. So now the crew was there, and Jack was walking in, and so he'd see somebody doing the wrong exercise on the machine. He'd walk over there and spend all this time. Jack, come on, you got the interview. But that's the way he was.
That's what makes him him. Exactly. I love people that help other people out in the gym, making correction of posture. That's the chiropractor and the fitness instructor in him for sure.
Yeah.
So some of the things I read that he had done, I just wanted to verify with you and then ask you what it was like to live with this man. Did you worry about him? At age 40, he swam the entire length of the Golden Gate Bridge underwater.
Right.
But
yeah,
which was a world record.
He just made it. He had 2 tanks on his back, and he just made it through the at the end at Fisherman's Wharf, or actually not Fisherman's Wharf, but whatever, on the end of the bridge. So anyway, then he swam again, and that was 20 years or
21 years later, at age 61 years old, he swam the entire length of the Golden Gate Bridge again underwater, but this time he was handcuffed and shackled and towed a 1,000-pound boat.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't underwater on his
second time.
He swam the year before that underwater, and this time they fed him air from the boat, so he didn't have to have the tanks on him. They had a little thing that would go down there, and he could use the air from the boats that they were feeding him. But the next year he swam from that's when he swam from Alcatraz, the handcuffed, and his feet were shackled, towing a 1,000-pound boat, and that was when he was 60 years old. So
goodness.
when he was 70, you got that?
Yeah, 70 years old, handcuffed, shackled, and fighting strong winds and currents. He towed 70 rowboats with several guests from the Queensway Bridge and Long Beach Harbor.
Yeah.
70 years old.
And he said, Jack, if you do any more of these feats, I'm going to divorce you. Promise?
Well, I also saw a quote from him that I thought was, I got a good kick out of. He was well into his 90s when someone asked him what his day was like. And he said that into his 90s, he still makes love to his wife almost every night. And he said, yep, almost Monday, almost Tuesday, almost Wednesday.
Where that comes from, we were on Howard Stern, and so Howard was, this is looking me up and down. And he says, how often, Lala? And nearly every day. And Jack says, nearly on Monday, nearly on Tuesday.
He was very witty, very witty.
And
Also,
and then
I thought that was very cool in hopes to attract more people to the show, peoples of all likes and ages. You had the dogs on,
yeah,
you had Happy, and then eventually Walter. And Walter stood for "We all like to exercise regularly."
we had Happy, Smiley, Chuckles, and Walter. We all love to exercise regularly, right?
That's amazing, and he did that in an effort to appeal to kids, so that more children will watch the show and participate with their parents and do the exercises, which I think is just amazing. He tried to reach across to all age groups and inspire them to work out, and I thank him for his work and you as well. Great stuff.
You know, when he was training for the 60th birthday swim, he said, I'm going to swim this time with handcuffed and feet shackled in a 12,000-pound boat. I think you've got to be nuts. So, he said, I need to get used to that cold water up there. So he said, go down to the ice house. And this is when we lived in Hollywood. He said, go down to the ice house and get me a great big sack. This sack was, like huge. I mean, it was just, and so I would go there and he would put his bathing suit on and I would pour this ice over him in the bathtub. And we would sit in the water there for an hour to get used to it. So,
Wow.
is,
So I got a question for you, and I saw that in referring to Jack, Arnold Schwarzenegger said that that Jack LaLanne is an animal, and that was right after he had beaten Arnold Schwarzenegger in some informal contest. But I was unable to find out what that contest was. What did he beat Arnold in?
well, they were down in Muscle Beach. That's see, when Jack started out at Muscle Beach, um, Danny, can you get that picture? And over there, is there a possibility?
Which one is it?
That one hanging on the wall, and I would show it to him if it's too much trouble. Anyway, so they were having a contest. I mean, not a contest, but Jack was working out, and so he and his buddy were trying to keep up with Jack, and so Jack. He just wore them out. They were doing the rings and they were doing the all sorts of stuff on the equipment down at This was at Venice, but Jack went out but in 1958 they closed it down. I gotta show this to you here. He even taught me.
Sure.
That's the original Muscle Beach. He
Wow.
even taught me to. And that's Mo down at the bottom and Jack's in the middle. And they had me climb up there. And man, at first my legs were shaking, but now I got used to it because it was. But speaking of the swim, I got a picture here of Jack towing it's in the back of the book on my putting the boom back into boomers. And I'm just looking for the page here. He swam towing 70 boats, and there were 70 people, and we're in the boats. There it is, right there. Can you see that?
I can.
That's me. That's a picture of me with before I even before I ever dated Jack. Remember I told you about I was doing the exercises at noon at KGO.
Yeah.
That's in the back of the book too. And then let's see, I got another. Would you like to see some more? There's
Yeah.
Jack.
So is this your new book?
Yeah, this is my new book. And then this is Jack doing a lecture, and he's got 3 pounds of fat, and he says, "Supposing I put that on your hips, supposing I put that on your waist, And since then, a lot of people have used that idea.
I use that.
Yeah, but that's been and there's Jack. He's lecturing at a movie theater, and then So, and then at the end, I'll show you. Then this, there's Jack and I. This is me in the 50s, and that's me 30 years old. I'm 60 years old there. So, and that's me at 90. That was taken on my 90th birthday, and I did some push-ups.
Beautiful,
So,
beautiful
so
as ever.
that's my book with Jamie Brenkins.
Congratulations. I know his fame is from 8 Minute Abs.
Yeah, he was famous for the 8 minute abs, and he was the 8 minute ab guy. And there's the Smith there's the original. That's the original Smith machine. That's the original one that Jack invented. And
Wow.
then Rudy, our friend, took it and made a lot of stuff. And they changed it a lot. So, but anyway, that's it. And that's at the end of the book. I put that at the end of the book, so and just mention a little bit of the friend.
I
But
love it. Where can I get this book? If you want to live, move, putting the boom back in boomers. I
yeah,
know it was just released. Congratulations. Where can we go and get it?
I just got this last Friday.
Wow.
So it's available on our shop LaLanne. And Jack, you go into jacklelaine.com if you want to know more about Jack LaLanne, then you'll find Shop LaLanne. So that's how you'll find it. And but anyway,
jacklelaine.com. Wonderful. And the book is amazing. And
yeah.
all kinds of pictures in it. And it's I love hearing. I could talk to you all day, Lala. I'm amazed. I'm in awe, and I want to thank you both again. What you and your husband have done to pave the way for health and fitness and Americans and the world to get healthy. The message is well received, and you've changed the world. You've changed the culture.
See, I'm doing exercises in this book too, and these exercises were done when I was 65. So, but anyway, I did.
So this book is geared towards the boomer and older for them to continue to exercise on a daily basis.
Yeah, we have three parts to it. That's you've got the first part. You got to renew, and then we got to reshape, and then refuel. And then refuel has got to do with nutrition. Reshaping has to do with exercise. And there's a lot of motivation in it about visualization. And I talk about visualization. Jamie talks about, we have a lot of little inspirational things in it too. So it's kind of, I'm proud of it.
Oh, well, I'm sure it's amazing. And I'm going to go out and get my copy immediately after we hang up so I can get a copy of it now that it's in and available. But tell me a little bit about nutrition. So what do you recommend? I know that, over the years, Jack was a vegan, he was a vegetarian, and then I believe at some point he ate some meat, but I saw that he was quoted as saying nothing that came from a cow.
He went through all that. He went through the eating. He went through the vegetarian 7 years. Then he went through the meat department, and he ate a lot of meat. He even drank. He read about the Watusis in Africa, and how they drank blood, and he even did that.
Oh
and
my
then and then he in the end of his life, I mean, not the end of his life, but the last probably 40, 50 years, he was everything in moderation. He didn't eat meat, but he did a lot of fish, and sometimes he would eat a little leg of lamb, but not much. I mean, he's stuck to mostly, and he was a big proponent of hard-boiled egg whites.
Yes, I read that. That was his breakfast every morning. And even sometimes at dinner, I saw you and he would have egg whites and fish.
Yeah, right. But you know what? When I first met Jack, he said, if you do everything in moderation, you can't go wrong. And so that's what I I feel that it's very important if you do things in moderation and you don't eat. Jack always says, you don't eat 100 apples a day, do you? You know, if they're good, one is good, you don't eat 100 of them. So you want to be in moderation. And in our book, we talk about 80% of the, you know, so you want to have a piece of, so you want to have a piece of cake, once in a while, or you want to, we're not asking you to be so perfect, but Jack was. I mean, he never deviated, never missed a workout, never deviated from his in his diet. But so when I was 8, no, I was doing a lecture. I do lecturing, and so I was doing this lecture, and the one fellow in the back said, uh, "You continue to eat the way Jack ate?" And I said, "Well, I did, but when I was 80, I said to Jack, Jack, now that I'm 80, I said, if I want a piece of cake, I'm going to have a piece of cake." And so he said, "It's not what you do some of the time that counts. It's what you do most of the time that
That's
counts."
right.
And so that's what I told. That's how I answered that question.
Well, I love the discipline too. I had read that he was a sugarholic, I guess, until about 15 years of age, and when he was inspired, he started to bring his own lunch to school, and he said he'd had to leave and go to the football field during lunchtime for fear of people making fun of his raw vegetables and whole wheat toast and nuts and berries, and that's a discipline and. Obviously, you both have something very powerful to share. Hey, Lala, how do people get in touch with you about lecturing? I'm sure a lot of people would love to have you come speak.
Info@jacklelaine.com. Information at info@jacklelaine.com if they want me to speak. Yeah.
And the
Uh,
book is at jacklelaine.com.
yeah, jacklelaine.com. The book is at jacklelaine.com. Shop LaLanne. You have to go into Shop LaLanne to,
Okay.
to actually get it. But if you go in there, you can maneuver around and find it.
I'm sure you could find it. Yes.
Jamie Brinkus, if you go into his website, just Jamie Brinkus,
Yes.
he's also selling it too. So, but anyway,
Well, marvelous collaboration. And
yeah.
with you and your co-author, and of course Jack LaLanne. And I can't thank you enough for coming and being part of this webinar today. Thank you for everything that you've done for all of us in the fitness industry. And what a marvelous life! You're amazing. You obviously have the secrets to health and wellness. The book is called "If You Want to Live, Get Up and Move."
Yeah,
Out of the boom, back and boomers. And Lala, thanks again. I really appreciate it. It was a
we don't
pleasure.
have to be a boomer either.
No, no, not yet. Not yet. Almost. Almost.
It works for everybody.
Yeah,
Thank,
no, obviously you've got basic exercises and nutrition, something that everybody should take part in every day. Again,
thank.
thanks so much, Lala.
If you ever get out to California, be sure to look me up. And if I
Oh,
get, I'm going to look you up.
I'll,
Okay.
absolutely. I'm going to come see you, and we can spend the day together just laughing.
Okay. I laugh a lot. Jack and I laugh through life. And don't forget your sense of humor, because your sense of humor is so important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks again, Love. Love
Okay.
you. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye now.